Welcome back to our channel. Today I'll be reflecting on Genesis chapter 2 verses 2 to 3. This is about the Sabbath, and if you try to look at the Bible, this is where we can find the first reference of the term Sabbath in the entire Bible. Genesis chapter 2 verses 2 to 3. Now before we go on my reflections of this verse, I would like to read the verses in Genesis chapter 2 verse 2 to 3 in the New International Version. It says, "By the seventh day God had finished the work he had been doing, so on the seventh day he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all his work, creating that he had done." Now, take note of this, that this verse reveals the profound truth that about resting, about holiness, and about the divine order, that right after 6 days of creation God rests, not because he is tired, but he wants to set an example of humanity, of all human beings, that the principle of the Sabbath, that it is not just something in time, but it is sacred time of rest and communion of the Creator, a reminder that he is really our Creator. Now, the first thing that I would like to reflect on is the meaning of God's rest. God's rest is not an act of inactivity, that he really rested and just stopped doing anything, but rather he performs three things. If we try to go into Genesis chapter 2 verses 2 to 3, he do three things: he rest, he blessed, and he hallowed or sanctified. Now take note that this resting doesn't mean that again he is tired, but it means completion, a sign that he has done something perfect and he was satisfied and contented of it. This is a lesson that even God himself was contented of what he was doing. I think we human beings as well be contented of what we are doing. Now Exodus chapter 20 verses 8 to 11 says that God commanded his people to keep and observe the Sabbath that he set in the book of Genesis, and as he said, as an example, he showed that rest is not optional, that it is very important, it is essential for our well-being, spiritual, social, physical well-being. The second thing that I would like to reflect on is the blessing of the seventh day. Take note that after the 6 days, on the seventh day, God blessed and made it holy. He set it apart, not just an ordinary day, but a day, something special, sacred, just not just physical, but spiritual, to rest spiritually, not just physically. Jesus declared that the Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. Mark chapter 2 verse 27, reinforcing the idea that the Sabbath is really a gift for humanity, for us to have some rest for our human restlessness. Now let's go to the third point on this reflection, that this Sabbath and its application in our lives today will give us an idea that rest is ordained by God. In the busy world, in the world of the 21st century, a modern world, a postmodern world, it seems that rest is not just part of our lifestyle, but the book of Genesis chapter 2 verse 2 to 3 reminds us that God wanted us to rest. It is God ordained. Resting is God ordained. He provided us his sanctuary in time, which is the Sabbath. It is essential and vital for a balanced life. True rest is found not just in ceasing work, but in trusting God. Take note of this: the Creator of the universe and the Creator of Sabbath. When we rest in Him, we acknowledge that He is in control. The Sabbath also is an invitation to worship and reflect and reconnect to our Creator. Take note of that. Now, in conclusion, Genesis chapter 2, verses 2 to 3 teaches us that God values rest, holiness, and of course, blessedness of the day and of the Sabbath. Observing the Sabbath is an act of faith, not just on the Sabbath, but to the Creator of the Sabbath, our Creator. It reminds us that life is not just about work, it is being with God. As we embrace His rhythm of work and rest, we experience His peace and blessing. Thank you for listening and giving us your time. Like and subscribe and share and support our channel. Thank you and see you next time on our next Bible reflections.